who will take what? Because are we seeing this to be the most expensive thing, the most expensive divorce in the whole world?
Oof. I think it's close.
It's close.
It's close. I think it's close to this guy's Jeff Bezos from Amazon.
All right.
You know, Jeff Bezos at one time he was the most richest man in the world.
All right. You know, we have actually some people on phone, wherever you may be listening to us from. We have Sarah on phone, we have Joy from Berlin, we have Sunny, we have Megan, and we're going to ask them on their views. Actually, remember, these are Africans who are currently living in US and right now based in Germany. So from wherever you may be listening to us from, even let me start with Joy. Joy, if you're listening to us from wherever you may be listening to us from, just tell us, what do you think about these Bill Gates, if you can get us louder and clear from wherever you are.
You know, I was thinking about the Gates, that this is rather consistent with their philosophies of life. You know, a lot of people in this country, very rich people, they hoard their money. They don't really spend it. They don't want to give it away. They don't want to give it to their kids until they die. And they hoard it as if they're going to live forever.
Sure,
you know?
sure.
The Gates have given their money away because they know that they're not going to live forever. They know that there's an end to this, unfortunately, although Betty White is giving us a run for our money. But still, this couple are very consistent here. Think about it. They now are in their 50s, and they're saying, I don't want to spend the rest of this very short time I have left in this situation. You know?
Yeah, we understand actually, before we go to Sunny, Joy is actually trying to tell there's a lot of rich people out there. Thank you so much, Joy, from wherever you're listening to us from. Thank you for calling us. Remember, we have, Joy is actually saying that they have made money. They have made people, and people hold off their money to themselves, but the Gates, they have given out their money. So what else actually do they need? And coming from Joy, before I come to you, Kwaku, here on the studio, I know there is Sarah. Sarah, if you're listening to us from Berlin, tell us what actually you think about the Gates right away. Sarah?
Yeah, I actually was. 27 years is a long run and arguably a pretty successful marriage with 3 kids and a lot to show for it. But it always surprises me when people make it that far and then decide to, because I know, you know, having kids and having young kids can put strains on the relationship. So you see a lot of divorces early on. But once you've gotten to that level of 27 years, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised, because here's a couple stats. For U.S. adults at ages 50 and older, the divorce rate has doubled since the 90s. And for people 65 and older, the rate has roughly tripled. And their youngest child right now is 18. So it's kind of that chapter change of emptying the nest, their purpose and their role as parents in a lot of ways is shifting. And I think that's where you see people have this moment. They look at each other and they're like, what next? I saw an Oprah episode that really changed how I looked at marriage. And Max and I have always agreed we're going to put our marriage first and everything else comes after that, because a good parent raises their kid to leave, but when they leave, you're stuck with each other. So it's really important you've always nurtured that, and it doesn't work for everyone, but yeah, I was surprised.
I'm telling you, Sarah was surprised on the other end. Yes, and it's surprising, actually. So many people are surprised for the whole world. And thank you, Sarah, for holding. And keep it on the line, because I'm going to come back to you before we talk, because Sunny is waiting actually on the other line. And I don't know what Sunny feels on this, Kwaku, the problem. And let's give this chance to Sunny. Sunny, if you are getting us, tell us, because Sarah feels so sad. And according to her, it was a very long relationship. What do you feel about this, Sunny, if you're listening to us?
I don't know why I was so saddened by it, because I sort of felt like Sarah, you know, after you've been married for so long, why would now be the time to end it? You know, I've been married 23 years, and it seems to get easier as you go along, because you know each other better, and you know about compromise, and you know your partner, and you know what makes your partner tick. And what was interesting to me was this was a marriage that they seemed to be able to understand each other, and like Joy said, they worked together. They had similar values. They were giving their money away. They were working on this foundation together, which they will continue to do. They were so philanthropic. And what I also found interesting was there was this 1997 article in Time magazine entitled In Search of the Real Bill Gates. And they had an arrangement where Gates had this ex-girlfriend, Miss Winblad, who he was very close to. And Melinda was fine with him for a decade, continuing to spend a long weekend with his ex-girlfriend at her beach cottage on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, where they would ride dune buggies